Hi, my name is Nunziata, and I'm a New York City-based director and creator of theater, television, and film, and I'm also proud FENIX Global Artist Ambassador. Today, I am thrilled to be speaking with, once again, the amazing photographer, producer, performer, writer, multi-hyphenate, Michael Kushner. For more on Michael, you can read more about him right below this video. But in the meantime, here is part 2 of my interview with the incredible Michael Kushner.
That's mainly why I started my podcast here, Multi-Hyphenate, is because there are so many stories. So the word multi-hyphenate has existed since 1970, but it's a very new buzzword. It's appearing everywhere, and in like the past year and a half, it's appearing everywhere. I get text messages all the time being like, look, I saw your word in this magazine or on Netflix, or it's in this and I'm like, one, it's not my word. I didn't come up with it. It is a word that was bestowed upon me by my friend Mary Jo McConnell. And she literally was like, you're such a multi-hyphenate. And I was like, what is that word? I must research that. And I was like, that's the word that I'm looking for. I'm tired of people asking me, so what do you really do? And then that word, I was so anyway, that's 1970 is when the word originated.
I love that.
But if we look at 1970s multi-hyphenates, who's the biggest one that sort of comes to my mind is Mel Brooks, my biggest inspiration, right? Actor, producer, writer, director, and Blazing Saddles, History of the World, Young Frankenstein, 12 Chairs, like all those movies he had multiple proficiencies on. So the term, and surely people before that have been existing in the multi-hyphenate. Molly Brown, Titanic survivor. I've been doing a lot of research on her because I just had a past life regression and discovered that I was Molly Brown in a past life.
Oh my goodness.
She was a multi-hyphenate. She was an actor, an activist, and all of these different things that she did while she was an actor, and that informed everything. So I'm like, oh my God, even in my past life, I was a multi-hyphenate. So that being said, this word, there's the corporate multi-hyphenate, there's the startup multi-hyphenate, but what is the theatrical multi-hyphenate? The environment where I was once photographing an event, and a woman who I've known since I'm 12 years old looks me up and down and goes, "You're doing this now?" While I had my camera in my hand. And I was like, that's it. And I always tell the story, I go, I wanted to run away and cry, but I instead went, why am I crying? Why is the perception of myself much greater than the joy that I actually have? And immediately right then and there is like, I need to do work on myself. I need to start making this a thing, because
so that was a breakthrough moment for you.
Yeah.
And you obviously it took someone like that to activate a release. And and from that, I mean, look at, my friend, you have won awards across the board. Not that you need them to have your work affirmed, but I really want to dive into, if it's cool with you, just some of the projects you currently have, because again, people can look up more about you right below this video and all over the interwebs. I want to hit on 2 projects in particular.
Sure.
One is the amazing web series, The Indoor Boys, the Emmy-nominated, award-winning series. I want to know how that came about for you, and what people can expect moving forward with it.
It's funny, I just made a TikTok about the photos that I shot of Wes Taylor backstage of SpongeBob. And
if people don't know, by the way, Wes Taylor is
he originated Plankton in SpongeBob. He's in Smash, and he was in the original Company with Addams Family. Just a big Broadway legend. We love.
But he also happens to be one of the.
Yeah, he also happens to be one of the creators of Indoor Boys alongside Alex Wise. And I was photographing him in his dressing room, Wes, at the Palace Theater before the renovation, and and he was asking me about me, and I was like, yeah, I'm a photographer and actor, and like kind of want to produce stuff. And he was like, oh, do you know Indoor Boys? And I was like, yeah. I was like, season 1 was great. And he was like, cool, I think we're gonna do season 2. And I was like, okay, well, let me know. So then he started to vet me. I got an email from him, or a text message from him, being like, let's get coffee, let's talk. And he was like, I have this idea and I need a camera person. And it was for a very short, like minute long movie.
Right.
And he's like, come over, let's film it. He liked what I did. He liked my eye. He liked my work ethic. Then he was like, all right, do you want to be executive producer of season 2? This is the ask, these are the perks, this is the commitment. And I was like, 100%, I'm in. Then he was like, I have this idea, this film that I want to do, this short starring my boyfriend Isaac Powell, who's currently in West Side Story on Broadway and original company of the revival of Once on This Island. He was like, I do you want to film it and produce it with me? And I was like, yeah. So we actually wound up getting into film festivals and going to San Fran together in Connecticut and nailing it. And then he was like, cool, do you want to be camera B on season 2? And I was like, yeah. And then season 3 happened of Indoor Boys, where I'm still executive producer and also camera B. And so he vetted me in this way where he was cultivating, I owe a lot to him. He was cultivating this new part of my artistry that I wasn't yet very in tune with.
Well, Michael, also, and I mean, I think it's so beautiful that Wes saw that within you.
Yeah.
Also,
amazing.
credit to you, my friend, to quote Kander and Ebb's great Liza tune that opens Liza with a Z, Say Yes. You are one, I can relate, who has done the work to realize or have the realization of a through line to gut instinct.
Mm-hmm.
And when it even feels remotely right, you just say yes and you figure it out.
Well, I'll tell you why I said multi-hyphenate is a buzzword right now. There are multi-hyphenates in this industry that I'm like, yes, you will find them on my podcast. You will be on my podcast. We will be talking. I will have you on my podcast because you are multi-hyphenate. It is not for me to decide who a multi-hyphenate is. I'm not the gatekeeper for multi-hyphenates. But I see people that see this word now and go, I'm a multi-hyphenate. I'm an actor, singer, and roller skater. And I'm like, okay. Actor and singer fall under the performer category. Okay. And then the roller skater, how does the roller skating influence the performance aspect of yourself? So in doing this podcast and in teaching workshops about the multi-hyphenate and sitting on panels about the multi-hyphenate and talking with colleges and high school kids about the multi-hyphenate and working on this project that I was talking to you about, that I'll announce soon, on doing all that work about the multi-hyphenate, I'm like, there has to be like a checklist, right? Because the multi-hyphenate is not just sort of like skating by, like, yeah, I'm an actor and a rollers. Like, no, that's a hobby. And if it becomes a professional thing, we'll talk about that later. But like the multi-hyphenate, what I say is an artist who has multiple proficiencies that cross-pollinate to help flourish professional capabilities. So my income with my photography helps me produce projects that I can be in, or I'm passionate about. And then those experiences I could talk about on my podcast, gain an audience, and write about those experiences with backstage or my next project.
It's a web.
The web, and then build that audience and get clients in my studio who will give me money to produce projects and blah, blah, blah. And it's a web. So
I love that.
Yes. So I'm like, is your artistry doing that? And if you're not sure, what I do is ask yourself 3 questions. If you have a skill that say you're a photographer, um, the roller skater, and the actor. Do they influence each other? And if they do, ask yourself these 3 questions. Am I paid for it? Even if you're not paid for it, are people hiring you to do that? Is there a paper trail, like a Googleable paper trail of you with that proficiency attached to your name? And does it bring you immense joy?
That's right. Well, look at my friend. I think you are an embodiment of someone who has traversed so many of the hills and valleys of this business, but you've always done it with a sense of gratitude and joy. And one particular project that I am especially
Oh, I didn't even talk to you about Indoor Boys. I'm so sorry.
Oh my God, Michael, this is one interview that I do not actually want to edit. I'm deciding right now, and the audience is literally eavesdropping in on my psyche. This is going to be a two-parter because I find I'm just so fascinated with how your brain works and processes.
Me too.
And I think other people will too. So they're going to be getting this extended long.
I love that. Okay,
interview.
so before you go on to the next question, I will just put a pretty bow on Indoor Boys. Indoor Boys was an extremely incredible experience. VN Cox, Alex and Wes wrote an incredible script, but VN Cox received an Emmy nomination for what she created with us, and it's absolutely incredible. So you could watch.
By the way, I have been a VN Cox fan my whole
God.
life on both stage and screen, and I think it's the best role that I've ever seen her in any medium in.
She's the literal best. She's also the best to work with. Every single person on that set is the best to work with. Like it was the most fun. I mean, sure, there's stress, but the producers, the creative team is supposed to bear the brunt of the stress and
That's right.
actors. So I was actually really proud when we got feedback from people like Carolee Carmelo and VN Cox and Ann Harada and these legends that were like, you ran a tight ship and it was great to be on set. And that's the best.
And look at, reminds me of Maya Angelou. People aren't going to remember what you did. They're going to remember how you made them feel.
Yeah.
And when you have, Broadway, heavyweights and who have done also television film like Ann Harada, Carolee Carmelo, and VN Cox, what a beautiful compliment, my friend. And speaking of Broadway heavyweight, a titan in our industry, Tony Award winner, who I am just so grateful to have recently worked with as part of Little Black Book, a musical, co-conceiving, set to direct, and also ended up co-producing the album of Billy Reese's amazing musical.
I love that boy.
Oh, I love him. My collaborator in crime, my brother from another mother.
Love him.
But our 11 o'clock number, Kate's song, was sung by one and only Alice Ripley. And you have a very special relationship with Alice, Michael. And, not only do people know about it after speaking with you, but you can see through the photographs that you've taken of her, the trust and the 110% abandonment that she can be her most authentic self in front of you. I mean, these shots, Michael, they're not like smiley, hokey wokey showbiz. This is you captured the essence of a woman of the planet. And the fact that people that need to see these shots, and if we're allowed to just display some of them over when I'm talking, not only that, but you are now involved in the film of the hit off-Broadway play in which she starred, Pink Unicorn, correct? Yeah. Can you go more into that and what that process has been like, will be like, and when we can see that?
Oh my God. Okay.
I know, I just unpacked so much onto you. You're welcome.
No, thank you so much. I'm looking at a photo that I took of her that hangs proudly in my studio. I'm in my studio right now.
Aw.
And yeah, I mean, I not only have loved her, you know, from Next to Normal days, but I saw her do Audrey in Little Shop in the out of town tryout in '03.
The wow.
I saw it
In Florida.
in Florida. I saw it. And that was my first exposure to Alice in 2002. And I was 11. And she's always been my favorite. The Rocky Horror Cast album. I've always loved her. And, you know, I love the divas that have a stamp that you can hear a mile away that the gays will imitate, you know,
I know.
out of
I
absolute.
think of one of my besties, Lillias White. You know what I mean?
I love that. I love your relationship with Lillias. It's amazing. You know, it's sort of the same. It's like,
By the way, I'm sure it's very similar because I think we were
yeah,
both 11-year-old boys who worshipped our you know, our Broadway women. But then to
yeah.
be a friend, you know, your relationship with Alice, I think of a lot with mine and Lil. It's like I forget that it's the Lillias, or you forget it's the out because it's just you're part of your tribe.
The first time that I met Lil, I don't know her as Lil, but the first time I met her as Lily,
I'm sure she would be fine with you calling her.
the first time I met Lillias White, I was in a health food store in Hell's Kitchen.
Westerly?
Yes.
Because we both lived there.
Yes, she was there. And she's pushing a push cart. And I was like, you're fucking Lillias White. And and she was like, yes, I am. And we talked and I was like, I love you. And she's like, I love you too. Come to my birthday party. And she handed me this invitation and I was not able to go. But that was my first interaction with her. It was
And that's
her
who she is.
inviting me to her birthday party. And that's sort of what happened with Alice. I photographed her with the skivvies and then I just sort of I just invited her to my studio and was like, let's jam out. And so she wound up staying and we ordered vegan food and just like having like the a boss ass time. And like then I saw Pink Unicorn off Broadway.
Yeah.
And Liz Fleming, who's the artistic director of Out of the Box Theatrics, another fellow multi-hyphenate, really has the same vision of the industry that I do. If it's not happening, make it yourself.
That's right.
And she's incredibly talented. She has the absolute brain and brawn of a producer as well as the heart of a performer. And so she created this company called Out of the Box Theatrics. And I had heard about them, but I never seen anything. And then the Pink Unicorn happened. And it was they did site specific stuff. And I saw Alice perform the role of this woman, Trisha Lee. And the story, I was like, everyone needs to hear this because it's interesting. It's an interesting take.
And when did you, was there something about when you saw it that you had put out into the universe? I think
immediately.
I think I need to be a part of this, but also I see the cinema within it.
Whenever I see something, I'm like, I need to be a part of it. I get myself in the door. I always do.
Michael, we are such the same person. I can't.
So I immediately was like, I want to be a part of this somehow. I want to like, what is the life of this? What is the longevity of this? And so I immediately was like, this needs to be a film and I really want to produce it. I really want it. And this was in 2018, I think. And it's 2021
and
now.
You start filming, well, we're filming this in the beginning of May, but you start filming what, this coming Friday?
Yeah, May 10th.
Is there a somewhat release date?
No, we're in talks with distributors right now, which is like, you know, big fingers crossed, knock on wood. But what we're really interested in, and I'm going to be very transparent about this, Colleen Cook, Liz Fleming, and I. So the show had the off-Broadway run And I was like, keep me in the loop. I want to do this. And then there was another off-Broadway run at the Cell. And then Colleen Cook, the executive director of Holmdel Theater out in Jersey, has become a huge friend of Out of the Box Theatrics and was like, let's bring it out into Jersey. So they did another run. And I became friends with Colleen. Colleen she's this incredible muggle who was in corporate life. And she retired and is a theater lover and found Out of the Box Theatrics, which meant that she also found me, and we've become friends. And she's the executive producer on it, so it's me, Colleen Cook, and Liz Fleming. And it just for anyone watching, when people are like, how long does it take to get something on its feet? We've been planning this for 3 years.
Yep.
Waiting for the right time, waiting for, availability, waiting for vision to click and go, that's what it is. You know what I mean? It takes waiting for other projects to finish so we have the bandwidth for this. And so it all finally, COVID actually was a time that we were able to, with working with SAG and what they wanted out of us, it was like, yeah, it's all doable. We could do this. So finally is happening. And we start on May 10th, and we really, really want this to get seen by the right audience in the right way. And that is a part. So this is your question. And that is a part of being a producer, is figuring out the way that the audience will ingest what you've created.
That's right.
And we're planning on doing the film festival circuit. So it might be a little bit before the public actually sees this project.
That's amazing.
If our distributors work through, like the main distributor that we're like talking with works through, then you might be able to see it sooner, and that would be exciting. But it might be in a film festival near you. So there's no set date, but that is the plan. That has been the plan all along. And it's exciting. It's exciting.
That's so great, Michael. Well, listen, I could speak with you forever. This is now going to probably be a 4-part interview. The first
my God,
ever of this series, but it is so also appropriate. Listen, my friend, I'm so excited.
Sorry.
Oh, stop it. I could talk with you forever. This is also selfishly our catch-up, so I'm loving it.
I know.
But I'm so excited that you're coming on board this fantastic new groundbreaking app where artists are going to be able to not only connect with new fans separate from what you might already have on your other social media platforms, but to connect with even more artists outside of the United States, especially in the East, where I think of all of your work, Michael, as transcendent and universal. So
sweet.
I'm excited. I'm so thrilled for everything you have going on. And again, ladies and gentlemen, for more on Michael, please read all about him underneath this video, but please go follow him everywhere and anywhere. I am so proud of you, my friend, and I cannot wait to speak with you soon.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. Thank you for giving a space to artists to share and talk and give you the skinny, and thanks for just being so supportive and honest and open. Like, we need more of that, and thank you for setting a really great example.
Oh, Michael, don't have me cry this early in the morning. Come on, my friend.
I know, I already did, so it's your turn.
I'll talk to you soon. Thank you for saying
Thanks, that. Love. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
In the digital age, artists and bands struggle to make a living. In fact, only a small number of artists can live off their craft. For the 98% of artists that don't have the luxury of being signed to a label, it's tough. But artists deserve to live off their art. Wherever you are around the world, appreciation of music does not change. FENIX brings bands and their fans together, whilst allowing bands to properly monetize their passion. The FENIX app will directly connect bands and fans with no need for middlemen. We're utilizing the blockchain to give the power back to the artist once and for all. Join FENIX, Join the change.